Third-party validation is probably one of the most powerful things in all of life. And when I say this, I know that's a huge statement, but I just experienced it at the Your Legacy Summit. See, I got there, and when I walked in, people were saying, hey, Kelly, I've heard about you. I'm so glad to meet you. And I was looking around, I was thinking, man, I've never met you before. I mean, how did you get in contact? All these things. And they just kept telling me over and over again. The CEO of Harper Ellis Hair Company, who's put together the whole Your Legacy Summit, had been telling them about me, had been telling all these people about all these great things that I had done or that I had said or all these things. And I didn't have anything to do with it. I walked into this situation and I was already set up to win. I was already set up to, it didn't matter what I did. I spent 3 days with these people and they were absolutely phenomenal. I got to meet Chelsea and Kayla and Michaela, all these people, Michelle Gamboa. And when I met them, they already had a preconceived notion of who I was or what I had done. And so it was so easy. I just got to be myself. This third-party validation is something that I've never been set up like this before. I've had an introduction before. I've done introductions on the podcast, but I've never had such a lead-in where I didn't really have to do anything at all, that people were just so open to receive what I was going to bring. And so what I realized was third-party credibility is so very powerful. And I thought about it and I was like, oh man, I had this thought when I went to read Proverbs 18 today. And I was thinking, man, God gives us third-party credibility. He tells us that we're perfectly, wonderfully made in his image, right? He talks about all these things. He sets us up, puts us in places where we're not qualified to be able to be in. And then he flipped it on me and he said, how much third-party credibility do you give to me? Because all of those people that are around you, the people that trust you, if you were to simply tell them your story, simply tell them all of the blessings that I brought into your life, that third-party credibility would set me up a little bit different. And so many times people have preconceived notions about, they judge God on man's inconsistencies. But what if we gave God third-party credibility to all of the people who trusted us in our lives through the stories and the way in which we lived, through the blessings that came in, through the wisdom that we had because we studied his word? Well, today we're going to jump into that in Proverbs 18, Inchstones. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
When I say that third-party validation is probably one of the most powerful forces, it's because think about it. Think about that third-party validation. People use it with sports figures. They use it with actors. They use it with all these different, personalities. And we see it all the time, but a lot of times we don't realize that it's happening. If Steph Curry uses something, we want to use it. Mr. Beast to my son, FaZe Rug, all these people. And so I got a chance to be able to experience it where someone shared it with me, and it didn't have to be, but I tell you, the whole entire time, the whole 3 days that I was at the Your Legacy Summit with the Harper Ellis Hair Company, I couldn't go 5 minutes without somebody saying something about something that they had heard, or even Tara standing on stage and talking about me, referring to me, things like that. And it made it so simple for me to go through where I didn't have to prove anything. That validation was already there. And in Proverbs 18, it just took it and kind of twisted it a little bit. Proverbs 18 drives home the fact that our time with him clarifies our story so we could go and share it with others and direct their eyes to him. See, my parents said to me, my mom and my pops, they would say to me that they didn't know, but they knew someone who did. And whenever I'd ask them a question, they would always do this. And it would frustrate me at times, but it helped me to realize that, guess what? That they were focusing my eyes on God, and they were saying, like, he is the one that's going to be able to have the answers throughout the time that we're not with you. And I believe that both of them knew that they were going to check out a little bit early. They were going to go home to Jesus, walk on streets of gold, hang out together. And they knew that I was going to spend a lot of this time by myself or with my family and without them. When I say by myself, I'm not alone. But it's incredible because they gave third-party validation to their relationship with the Lord. And then what happened was it was so much easier for me to be able to ingest it, to digest it, to be able to look at it. And now that's something that I want to be able to do with every single one of you, because honestly, all the things that I've got the opportunity to do, there's no way that I could have done them without him. And so in Proverbs 18, let's go through it. We'll hit it with rapid fire. In verse 1, 3, 5, 23, lift others up always. If there's a way for you to lift someone up today, lift them up through text, through email, through a call, whatever it is. There's a way that you can lift somebody up. And when you do that, what'll start to happen is you'll start to give them third-party credibility just by you talking about them, even to them, where you'll lift them up. Hey, you're doing amazing. I was talking with my buddy the other day. I was talking with Coach Keith, and he was telling me about a couple of things. And I said, gosh, if you could see yourself the way that I saw you, even for 24 hours, then your view would be different, right? So lift up others up always. In verse 2 and 18, take time to see from others' perspectives, because your perspective isn't always the one. It's not always right. And sometimes it is right, but we need to look from somebody else's perspective. I do this a lot with my buddy Will. I'll hear something, I'll see something, I'll send it to him, and I'll say, what do you think? Because he doesn't live the exact same life that I do, and I don't live the same life that he does. So I get different perspectives, right? And in verse 4 and 19, wisdom will always be fresh and evergreen. So wisdom won't ever get stale. It's like a flowing river is what it talked about, and that flowing river is going to constantly be fresh. In verse 6, 7, 8, 14, 20, 21 is speak life always. Speak life, meaning use someone's name, something specific that they did, and shout it at the top of your lungs. When you celebrate things that people did and you do it publicly, what will happen is, it's unbelievable. We actually built a company on just doing that. The power of life and death is in your tongue, so make sure that you speak life always. In verse 8, don't be lazy in promoting those who you believe in. I know there's a little meme on social media that says, why haven't I become famous? Because you won't share my ish, right? And it's not about sharing it because you're going to get something from it, but if you believe in it, share it. 6 words changed my life on social media, and it was, I love when my friends win. Promoting others, allowing them to be able to shine, because there's enough light for all of us. There's enough light, and the brighter that you shine the light on other people giving third-party credibility, what will happen is it'll be so much easier for people to be able to promote you. It won't happen right away, and don't do it because you want people to promote you, because then I promise you'll get very, very disgruntled and disillusioned. So don't be lazy in promoting those you believe in. That's verse 8. In verse 10 and 22 is build on a firm foundation. Always build your life, your story on a firm foundation. That way, when you give third-party credibility to somebody, then they actually will believe it, and they'll believe who you're talking about. If your life is shaky and you're saying, oh, use this, there's some times where third-party credibility is the powerful force that can drive someone away from your brand. A person that is not the most savory person in the world saying, yes, this is the greatest brand of all time. We saw this happen in the election. We saw this happen where both parties tried to use third-party validation in all aspects. So they were saying, oh, well, I endorse this, I endorse that, I endorse that. You see the power of third-party validation. And in verse 12 and 16, let others praise you, it will be more valuable. Let others praise you. And I've talked about this in our company so often, is just don't beat your chest. Let somebody else tell your story. And imagine this. Imagine if you told everybody else's story, they told yours. I experienced that this weekend, and honestly, it is one of the most powerful things in the world. Thank you so much, Tara Harvell, for setting me up the way. I've never been set up that way in my whole entire life. All the speaking, all the keynoting that I've done, I've never had that type of introduction, not just from the words that were said, but from the actions all around. And I tell you, I learned from that. And every convention, if you have a speaker come in, you have me come in for your keynote, make sure that you promote that person at the highest level so everybody knows and they walk in, and it's so much easier for them to accomplish what they need to accomplish. In verse 13 and 17 is listen fast and speak slow and precise. Listen fast, speak slow and precise. Speak very, very slow, but be as precise as possible. And I've learned this over time is precision beats speed. But when you add speed and precision, it's literally undefeated. Listen fast, speak slow, and very, very precise. And in verse 15, hear it, store it up, speak it, and then do it. But be conscious of what you hear. Because if you hear it, then you'll store it up. If you store it up, then you'll speak it. And then when you speak it, then you'll do it. So be conscious of what you hear. So hear and seek out wisdom. And where do you get that? From the fear of God. And when you spend time with him, what'll start to happen is you'll start to store that up, you'll start to speak it, and then you'll start to do it. And it sounds like a pretty simple way of going about it. The last one is a true friend will shout your story to the ends of the earth. A true friend will shout your story to the ends of the earth. Are you being a true friend today? Are there people in your life where you could talk about their business, talk about their character, talk about their integrity, talk about who they are, their story? Because when you do, guess what? It's so much easier for them to be able to do what they're doing. And imagine if you had 10, 12, 14 people doing that for you. I've been very fortunate on this. I was in the last 3 days, but also throughout my life. Brian Wagner, thank you so much. Aaron Wax, who is now Aaron Ben David. She built my whole entire business. Michelle Tamigawa. These people built all third-party credibility. They were the ones out there promoting. And think about this. I talked about this as we end, is you can think about marketing to the thousands, and spray and pray is what they call it. And then hopefully one person you get out of there, or two people. Or you could take two people and pour your heart and soul and show them your entire story, and then they go out and promote all the things. That's so much easier. One evangelist is worth 100,000 that you market to cold. And if you have an evangelist that is speaking the gospel of your story and giving you third-party credibility, it could be one of the most powerful things that could ever happen. And what God is saying is that you are that powerful person. You are that person, and he wants to spend time with you and then have you give third-party credibility about him to others, because then there'll be an evergreen source of wisdom in their life. That's Proverbs 18. It's been Inchstones. My name is Kelly Cardenas. Guys, make sure you comment, subscribe, like. All of you who are at the Your Legacy Summit, I want to thank every single one of you. And I can't name all of you, but Kayla, you made me feel amazing. Summer, you made me feel amazing. Chelsea, you know who you are. Makilla, you know who you are. Tara, I love you guys. I can't wait to spend more time with you. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised.